going on, guys? Macho Man Matty Savage here from the SmackTalk team. Alongside me, I've got Insider BA, Timo, and Dan Go. Guys, we're here to talk WWE TLC's pay-per-view coming to you live this Sunday, only on the WWE Network. So, guys, you know how this goes. Before we even get into anything, I'm going to flip it over to Insider BA, who's going to hit us with the social media.
So if you ain't doing it already, you're messing up because Smack Talk is running wild on every single social media platform that I know off the top of the dome. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, now on Spotify, @_Smack Talk for Instagram, Twitter, and of course, everything will be in the link of the video on our YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe over there. But Spotify, we're on Spotify, guys. It's that simple. If you have a long drive from home, then it's that simple. We're going to have our predictions up right now, and then you could just tune in to the Raw recap, an AEW recap that Macho Man and Dan Go do every week. Just give us a follow, a like, a share, retweet, and subscribe.
Wow. So this is it, guys. This is the final pay-per-view of 2020. It's been a hell of a year. It can only go up from here. I mean, Royal Rumble's coming after this, but working with what we've got at hand right now, we've got 6 matches on the card to get into. And does anybody want to share any thoughts as a whole of how you're feeling about this pay-per-view before we dive in?
Yeah, I'd jump right in. Just gonna put in the obvious low viewership that Raw just had. How can they recapture the viewership on this pay-per-view? You know they're going to try to bring up all the stops. There was a rumor out there that they're trying to bring in more adult content for USA. This is the perfect setup for TLC to just drive it home for 2020. They need to plan a big 2021, and it needs to start with TLC.
It doesn't start with TLC. I'll tell you that much right now. It starts with the Royal Rumble. 100% in 1 month's time, the Royal Rumble will be beginning of WrestleMania season, of course, and it will be the beginning of them trying to fix their crap.
Okay. Well, USA Network's putting WWE on the clock here, so
yeah,
if it ain't starting at TLC, it's gonna start on the Monday night right after that. So
maybe
this is why we watch.
Exactly.
Let's dive right into it, guys. I'm gonna kick it off. I'm going to move it over to Timo for the first prediction here. First match I've got to talk about. Let's get this shit out of the way. I'm talking Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending the women's tag titles against Asuka and TBD. That means to be determined for those of you that don't know what the fuck that means. And that means Lana was taken out of this match, which then means, to me, Lana will be back in this match. So that is going to be my prediction for who's going to be the TBD. But, Timo, who you got?
You know, TBD, they have a really bad history on whoever the superstar is. They have a really bad history in the WWE. Whoever TBD is, nobody ever really likes them. It's going to be Lana coming back, and I feel like I kind of actually do like Asuka and Lana together. It's not great wrestling. It's not the greatest storyline, but it's somewhat entertaining, and it actually makes Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler better because right now they suck. They should be individual. You should have Nia Jax. You should have Shayna Baszler. If you're going to put them in a tag team, you're going to have to be, I don't know, make them dominant, which I don't really think they have been. They haven't been as dominant as you would think these two should be. They should be dominant. They should be running through women's tag teams, and you should be building them up that way for the eventual split. They face each other. It's a formula that works, WWE. Get it together. I do think they're going to win, however. They have to retain the tag team titles because although I think Asuka and Lana have been as entertaining as they can be with what they've been giving, I don't think they're going to be tag team champions and have a long run or any kind of run. So Shayna and Nia Jax retain, and I don't know what you do next with Asuka and Lana. Hopefully you have Asuka go back to having a nice singles run for when everybody starts to come back and you have a division.
All right. Let me tell you what's going to happen, Tim, with the whole Lana, Asuka, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are going to win this match. My to be decided, I ain't going to go safe. I really don't give a shit. I'm going to throw a dart. It's going to be Melina. She signed back with the company back in September. She's been in the Performance Center, and why not? Why would you take Lana out on the Monday before the pay-per-view? Maybe because oh, wow, we really suck. These storylines crap. And why wouldn't you make this match a tables match? It's a TLC pay-per-view. The whole storyline is been behind a freaking table. Literally. And you don't make the match a tables match? Come on,
still gonna
man.
go to a table.
So Lana's not in the match, so how can it?
Exactly. So, hey, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if Lana, oh my God, it's Lana. She's the 2BD. Like, who cares? Like, I don't mind the whole Lana, what they've been doing with her. I don't mind. The thing I really hate is, of course, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler as a team. We've already been talked about that. I really hate the fact that your women's champion for Monday Night Raw is in a women's tag team championship match. Why can't they ever book them separately? It's so simple. You have these two idiots teaming up together when they shouldn't be, and then you have Asuka trying to be something with the Raw Women's Champion. Of course, we know the women's division's in shambles, and of course, we need Charlotte. Becky Lynch is a big loss as well. But, like, you're throwing all these tag teams together, Mandy Rose with Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce with Lacey Evans. Why? Why? So I'm just going to end it with TBD is Melina because I don't care. And maybe it is just to be a surprise for the end of the year because every single time they bring back an old legend like her, legend, whatever. But when they bring back someone like that, they throw her into something stupid like TBD. Here you are. And as far as who wins the match, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. And that's it. I'm just going to end it on that.
Who's taking the pin?
Oh, who's taking the pin? Right down. That's a good question. I have.
It's got to be Lana.
This is the meaning behind Timmy's statement.
Well,
that I was trying to make. Asuka takes the pin because it sets up probably a handicap match for the women's title at Royal Rumble, which is going to be even more whack.
Boy.
Exactly.
Boy.
I just booked it for
I don't
you.
like where you just went with that.
I know. It's WWE. They're in shambles.
So for those who are just tuning in, if this is the first time you're tuning into the SmackTalk podcast, you're probably asking yourself, man, why are they asking all these random questions? Who's winning? Who's taking the pin? Well, let's break it down for you. This is a pay-per-view podcast where there is a chop on the line. So we are asking who wins the match. We have to throw some curveballs in it because everybody just can't go perfect. You know what I'm saying? So who takes the pin? Who opens the show? Who closes the show? Stay tuned. This is all going to make sense at the end. And if you've been watching, you should be writing down your picks of these questions as I will go next. I actually have Asuka and TBD winning because the TBD is going to be Lana. So if you're keeping track at home, Lana is going to be my surprise TBD appearance person. Here's why I went that route. I believe it was like roughly this time last year where it was Nia Jax who was getting bullied and they made a big deal about being bullied and how bullying overcomes and da-da-da-da-da. It just so happens that you see Nia, who was bullied, become the bully. So the story don't make sense on how we're trying to get away from bullying when Nia Jax just became the bully anyway. It doesn't make sense to me. So now I'm just referencing
Hey, Daniel,
back.
that's how real life works sometimes. You know?
But you live to see yourself be the bad guy.
Right. It's true. In psychology, the person that gets bullied usually grows up and ends up being a bully. Hey, I mean, I don't think WWE is that smart, but
all I'm saying is if I bring it back to last year, we obviously knew the bully won that match being Nia Jax. So I'm just using that same formula, bring it on to TLC. I got Lana winning this, and I have Nia Jax taking the pin. Ouch.
All right, Tim, who takes the pin? I don't know if I heard it.
Lana.
Lana takes the pin, okay.
So, yeah, I've got TBD as Lana. I've got TBD, which is probably Lana. It doesn't matter who it is taking the pin. I've got Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax retaining. I'm not really going to get into it. If you haven't already, you should be listening to my Raw recaps every week. I'm bringing you my feelings of what I'm watching every Monday night. And, man, this women's division is trash. And the other reason I'm going with Baszler and Jax is the simple fact that you just reintroduced the pairing of Mandy Rose, who's now back from injury, and Dana Brooks. So that's what they're going to get fed next. So I got them. I got Baszler and Jax retaining, and that's really all I got to say about that.
I will say Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke could be the potential next contender. The team that will take the titles off now, Jax and Shayna Baszler. Today's date is December 19th. I really had to think of what month it was. Where I am. The Riot Squad with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot will be taking those titles off of those females.
Well done. I just want to piggyback off the Spotify little dash there. If you haven't listened and you want to, this is something for you to take note. Macho Man Matty Savage will always deliver a letter grade on every Raw recap, and it's been fire, so please listen.
It's simple, guys. It's 3 hours and 15, 20 minutes, 10, 15, whatever it is. I mean, it's a lot. It's easier than watching 3 hours of Raw, I'll tell you that.
Amen.
So let's keep talking about the tag team picture. We're talking now the New Day defending the Raw tag titles against the Hurt Business. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin.
Good job.
Guys, where are we going here? Gold to the Hurt Business?
It's got to be. I got Hurt Business taking the win finally. And I'm going to tell you who gets pinned, which is going to be another bonus question. I got my boy Kofi Kingston taking the L here. And the only reason why I went that way was because this come together of these two teams have been Kofi getting in his own head and trying to show up and show out every time. So I think it's only right for your boy Kofi Kingston to take that L. Her business needs gold, man. They are money.
Yep.
That's it. Simple.
100%. I'm going to also piggyback off you and say everything you just said is exactly what I have, except for the fact that I have Xavier Woods taking the pin because I always choose Xavier Woods. He's just a fall guy.
So
yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna piggyback off Brian. I have the same exact thing. I have the Hurt Business winning. They're gonna get the new gold, and I like your theory with Kofi Kingston. You know, he's been getting in his own head, but I still think it's gonna be Xavier Woods taking the pin because Kofi, former champion, still gotta protect him a little bit. And I would just like to say the Hurt Business is what a faction. This is how you build a faction. Like, they can win, they can lose, they keep on trucking. You like to see them every week, and they're just entertaining.
Yep.
Well put, Tim. So I'm going to agree with everybody here. I've got the Hurt Business getting the gold finally. Again, they've lost twice already over the past month. They somehow found their way back into the title picture again. They never really left it, even though they lost twice. They lost twice, guys.
Don't matter.
But third time to charm. We've got new champs, and I've got Xavier Woods taking the pin, which brings us to our next match. Sasha Banks defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Carmella. BA, what do you got for this?
Let me start this one off because I actually watched SmackDown last night. I am behind the whole Carmella, reborn Carmella, however you want to call her new gimmick, or like the whole bubbly gimmick and everything with like she's untouchable and the whole thing. Like, I watched Talking Smack after SmackDown, and she put Booker T in his spot by saying basically, because Booker T said Sasha Banks has been like making history and like you haven't really done anything, and then Carmella snapped back. He's like, what are you talking about? I haven't made history. I have been the 2-time Women's Money in the Bank winner, first overall ever, and then second winner. And then I've defeated Charlotte many times. I've defeated Asuka many times. What has Sasha Banks done that I have not done? Yeah, she might be the Grand Slam champion, or she might do this and that. But the fact that you're decrediting me of what I am capable of doing, like, I didn't realize how much Carmella has accomplished because of what happened to Carmella in between when Sasha Banks was like up and down. Carmella went into that like gimmick with R-Truth where like she was just kind of like a comedy act, but still performing. And Sasha Banks was always on the losing end or the winning end because you always build around the 4 horsewomen. So Carmella, of course, is on the outside of the four horsewomen, as well as my girl Alexa Bliss, but they never get the credit for what they've actually done these past few years, because it's always about Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. That's always the first four that comes to mind. So, however, I'm still going to pick Sasha Banks to win this Sunday, because she just won it, and she just has to keep on going for SmackDown to stay afloat.
So I just want to say I kind of agree with Brian. I think Sasha Banks wins. This is how you start building a good title reign. Carmella, not the most dominant force inside the ring. She's not a super athlete. She's not larger than life, but her character work is some of the best in the WWE for the women's division.
Yep.
She has accomplished more than people give her credit for. And again, not just with her athletic performance, but just her character. Her character is always one that takes advantage of the opportunity she's given. You know, she could be kind of sneaky good in some of those matches. She sells really well. Her storytelling in the ring is really good, and it makes for good matches. And I think Carmella is the perfect opponent. You know, not going to have a 5-star match physically, but it's going to be entertaining, and she's going to have you invested in it. And when Sasha eventually wins and moves on to the next opponent, it's a good foundation to build on. So I have Sasha Banks retaining, but I think this is going to be a good stepping stone for both Sasha and Carmella.
Yep.
So the way that I'm looking at this for Sasha Banks, and I'm just going to go back to BA. BA mentioned that Sasha Banks has always been an up and down competitor. I totally agree with that statement. Here's the difference with Carmella. No matter how high or how low Carmella has been, she's never reached the pinnacle of where Sasha's low meets. That's just my opinion. So she's always been the underdog and everything. And she took a real demotion when she went with R-Truth. Granted, it was hilarious. It was just a skit. And it shouldn't have been. She should have been wrestling. She should have been the eye. I get it. It's been the four horsewomen. Totally agree with that as well. However, you gotta learn to build within, and they haven't trusted Carmella with that. And I'm just going to make my pick. Might surprise y'all. I do actually have Carmella winning, and I'm going to go back again to BA's up and down with Sasha Banks. This is going to be a down for Sasha Banks, but these two can really hit it off. Bring this feud to Royal Rumble and send it home. Carmella, you're the champ for a month, girl.
Ooh, it's going to be a down for your chest, too. Oof.
I like it. No. I think Dango's got a chance here.
Yeah, I think those were fair points, honestly. I mean, I could definitely see Carmella getting the win and holding the title for a month and then losing it at the Rumble.
They did it with Drew McIntyre.
They did it. You're right. You're right. That's a fair argument from Dango, but I'm gonna side with BA and Timo on this one. I've got Sasha Banks retaining for the simple fact that although that is a great point brought up, to me, where Sasha currently stands, I mean, how many successful title defenses has she had now? Just the one against Bayley, right?
Right.
This is like in her entire main roster career.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Man, it just would kill me to see her take the loss here. But I'm going Sasha Banks retaining here.
Let's bring it.
Keep it rolling, boys. Firefly Inferno match.
Yes.
We got the Fiend, Bray Wyatt against Randy Orton. Maybe potentially the most interesting match on this card, just for the simple fact that they just made it some kind of Inferno match, and I have no idea what that even means.
So can I just say this? The reason why Raw is still standing, I guess, is because of the Fiend. But the problem as to why they're failing in ratings is because of the Fiend. So the reason why I say that is because the Fiend's and anything he does with Bray Wyatt on Monday Night Raw can be caught in highlights the next day. You don't actually have to watch the show to see what he does. You don't have to watch the match. You don't have to, you can literally watch every highlight the day after. When it comes to Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Lana, Nia Jax, all the other crap that's going on, yeah, you got to kind of watch the show to see, well, why is this happening? Why is Lana all of a sudden out of the match? Why? Like, so that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, the Fiend, I love the Fiend. And then moving to Raw, of course, was the big trade because Seth Rollins and everybody else went to SmackDown. Roman Reigns is over there. They needed someone that's entertaining to keep the viewers. The problem is, I'm not saying he can't keep the viewers. It's just the stuff he does can not be seen live. And that's the unfortunate thing because of his character is. It's not his fault. It's just the way WWE's booking everything in general with the other 2.5 hour of crap that's behind him. So I have the Fiend, of course, winning this Inferno Firefly match, Firefly Inferno match. And I hope it is better than what the payoff was at WrestleMania years ago, in, I believe 33, when it was Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, cockroaches in the ring that year.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
So, again, I have no idea what's in store for this Inferno match, what a Firefly Inferno match is, and unfortunately for us, the WWE Universe, wow, I just sounded like Kurt Angle there, the WWE Universe, we've already seen and been prepped for how disappointing this possibly could be, going back to WrestleMania 33, his other match with Orton. It was just a bunch of graphics put onto the ring. So I don't think they're going to make that mistake again. I have higher hopes for this match. I think Bray Wyatt needs to win this time around because if he loses 2 of these, this is his match, right? A Firefly Inferno match is his match. Yep. He had the last match at WrestleMania. It was supposed to be his match. He needs to win this one to come out with any kind of credibility going forward. So, I mean, I'm picking partly with my heart, partly with logic. But this is the WWE, so you never know how badly they can screw things up.
Yep, he lost to Goldberg.
But I just want to touch on the ratings. I think part of why the ratings are down is because you don't have to tune in next week to figure out what the consequences of everything that happened this week are. Like, nothing matters week to week. Like, some crazy storyline could be going on and, like, a devastating loss or a great win or just something happens, and then next week it gets completely rewritten. You were invested and it changes, and it just doesn't matter. You don't have to tune in to find out what happens every week, because then, yes, as Brian said, you have highlights online that highlight everything, but not only that, the continuity isn't there. There's no investment. You have no investment in Raw or the storyline or anything, because time and time again, every time you make that investment, they subvert your expectations, you know? So that's one thing that AEW does a lot better. Even NXT, things matter week to week. And I think before anything, because you have the best superstars, the writers probably getting paid the most in the industry, and none of that matters. It's just because you need to make things count and make things matter, and they don't.
Man, I couldn't agree anymore. Obviously, Raw has been failing for some time now. Just going to bring this back. I think it was the 2-year anniversary of when Triple H got on the mic and said, I'm not going to watch the show anymore, like pretending to be fans. And here we are 2 years later, 3 million people are out, not watching, not giving a damn. Don't tell me that there was a great football game that you didn't watch Raw, because you ain't telling me 3 million people, like, it's been Monday Night Football for 2 years now. Come on. They have lost the drive for Raw. You can see it in the athletes when they're bringing out the noise. It's just not 100% in, because they don't know what their next job is next week. Don't want to go crazy on this. Bring it back to the Fiend versus Orton. This is going to be my match of the night, obviously, because it's going to be epic. We don't know what's going on, so they got to make it epic. I have the Fiend winning here because he does need to win here. He's the Fiend. We got to keep – this is the best thing Raw has right now. Yeah. And for them to have the Fiend lose ain't going to help the ratings next week, like Monday. It's just not. Fiend takes the dub here. He kind of has to.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt in my mind, and clearly all of yours, that the Fiend is not losing here. I mean, yeah, he lost to Goldberg, but he's not going to lose this match to Randy Orton. I mean, he's shown week after week that although Randy might think that he does have the answer to Bray's questions, he's always got another question to ask of Randy. So he can't figure him out. You know, he tried to burn him in the wooden crate this past week, and out comes the Fiend, which that was great. Man, it's the best thing going on Raw right now. Firefly Inferno, I have no idea what's going to happen here. I think this is going to be some kind of a cinematic match. Maybe. I don't know. But Fiend's got to get the win here. I don't think this is match of the night, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt,
Go ahead.
Can I just say this about what you said about the whole casket or whatever he had? The box was on fire.
Wooden crate.
Wooden crate, yes. So I read a comment online that made perfect sense with what happened this past Monday, and the fact that WWE no longer prolongs things. They immediately go right for the finish line as soon as they just start it in the beginning of the night. So they had Randy Orton burn the wooden crate, like how Randy Orton, old babyface, like young Randy Orton, burned Undertaker's casket with him inside. And then months later, a burning casket that got shot by a lightning bolt, bang, here's Undertaker back from the dead. The Fiend, I know it's a different character, obviously, but the Fiend has the same supernatural things as the Undertaker character. And in literally 30 seconds, the wooden crate's burning, and then bang, the Fiend is here. It's like
Magic.
I know, it's just like it defeats the whole thing of like, you can prolong this. You can literally prolong this if you wanted to.
I just want to say, I understand that that's probably a better strategy to prolong it, you know, create that intrigue. But the Fiend's whole character has always been, by God, you just killed the Fiend and he's standing right back up and now you're dead. Like that kind of thing. It's like always been the Fiend's thing is like, you can do whatever you want to him and it doesn't faze him and he's right back in your face. So I can understand why they went for that.
The reason they can't prolong is because they can't afford to at this point. That's
that too.
And that's the thing.
They can't afford to say, Bray, I know maybe he was hurt, let's just say. We'll have you off TV for a month or two, and then we'll bring you back. What a surprise. You can't afford that, especially when you got 1.5 million viewers a week and dropping.
Yep.
So let's talk about our two main events now. It's the two title matches. First one I want to get into, Roman Reigns defending the Universal title, the head of the table, against Kevin Owens. It's a TLC match. Guys, Kevin Owens, is he going to be the one?
Not a damn chance. This is just a little speed bump in the road of Roman Reigns being the head of the table for a really long time. Let's be serious. SmackDown has struck in gold with the head of the table, your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. I've said this on multiple podcasts in the past. Roman Reigns is the guy to beat in the WWE. I have Roman obviously keeping the victory streak moving along. I don't care how he gets it done. You know there's going to be interference. Roman Reigns needs to keep this going with Paul Heyman because, honestly, this is the best thing that we've all gotten to witness for a really long time. So let's keep the train moving.
So the one thing about this match, of course, it's a TLC pay-per-view. This is a TLC main event. All of the other matches we just talked about, except for Bray Wyatt, The Fiend versus Randy Orton, are all singles matches. And that's another thing about this card is, like, typically in the previous years, they have a chairs match where this is the only weapon you can use, or a tables match, which they should have done with the Nia Jax match. So there's only two.
Steel steps match?
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Make that a pay-per-view name.
So it's like 50-50 how I feel about it. It's like, you know what? It's just TLC. We're going to have two world championship matches TLC, bang. But like, you could have had Sasha Banks versus Carmella maybe in a ladder match. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something you could have added more spice to these matches, and WWE chose not to. So the main events, of course, are this one right here. I have Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the tribal chief, the undisputed, reigning, defending, however Paul Heyman's going to announce him.
Reignsing.
Roman Reigns wins this matchup against Kevin Owens. Go ahead, Matt.
So, Roman Reigns is obviously going to retain here, but I'm just going back to what you were mentioning with the TLC pay-per-view, how they haven't had tables matches, ladder matches, whatever. I've thought about this from a different perspective, more of a business perspective, I guess you could say. This pay-per-view is called Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. It's dedicated towards the TLC match itself. So the fact that you're just saving two matches, your two biggest matches, to have them in that type of a match, to me, that's a perfect way to build a pay-per-view.
That's why I'm 50-50. That's why I'm 50-50 on the fact of what they did here.
And I love Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens, but you're just not going to get past the head of the table at this point.
No.
Just before Timo makes his picks, I just want to say I completely disagree with that. First of all, the fact that all of these matches aren't TLC matches makes you think the name TLC for a pay-per-view is whack. Get it off my damn show. If you're going to make it a TLC match, you got to have every match on this damn thing TLC.
No.
So let me just piggyback off that real quick. First of all, I don't think we need to predict much. Roman Reigns is winning. Here's the thing about TLC. You can't name pay-per-view matches and schedule them in advance after like a stipulation, because now you have to force the storyline around a stipulation like TLC. It used to happen back in the day where the storyline would build and organically come, well, we got to settle this with a TLC match. Now It's just like, we've had this feud. TLC is next weekend. Let's find a way to get ladders and chairs in it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense. It doesn't matter. However, like Carmella, I feel like Kevin Owens is a perfect matchup for Roman Reigns because he builds the story, builds the legend. He's a fighter. He's going to go out on his shield. He's going to die for this match. And that is exactly the match, however good or bad it is, helps Roman, keeps his steam going, and it's just great.
So we got Roman across the board, it sounds like?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Main event time. It's the last match on the card. And I saved this one for last because, again, we've got The Miz hanging in the background with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Yep. We're talking Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against – who's he facing? AJ Styles. Good God. See when I don't look at my agenda? Man, I tried shooting from the hip, couldn't even remember it was AJ Styles because he's fallen kind of irrelevant in this goddamn fucking match because everything is centered around Miz and Morrison, Drew McIntyre, and AJ Styles and Omos. Man, there's just too much shit going on.
Sheamus.
Oh, we forgot about Sheamus. He just got his ass whooped with a fucking chair while he was hanging from the ring. That shit was fucked up.
So,
and I'm
just going to make it quick. I have Drew McIntyre winning this match. I barely watch Raw now. It's so
You didn't let me finish.
Go ahead.
Finish.
It's a TLC match. We know that.
It's a TLC match. Thank you. Will there be a cash-in?
I say no.
Okay.
But if it does cash in, I say it is successful.
All right.
So I'm going to go right off the rip here. I got Drew McIntyre retaining his belt the entire night. I do have Miz cashing in. I don't think it's going to be successful because it's going to be something so dumb because that's all they've been doing around this damn championship reign. Done.
So, all right, here's the thing. Ratings are in the tube. You need something to jump spark this. Miz cashes in. Miz successfully cashes in. He's going to be your new champion. Guess what? Miz and Maurice get half as many viewers as NXT and AEW, and there's only 2 superstars. So here's some quick math. 2 superstars get half the ratings. Give them the title. Add those ratings to Raw. The ratings go up. Drew McIntyre, I guess, wins the first wins again. Whatever. My prediction is Drew McIntyre beats AJ Styles. So if that's part of it,
Well, you got Miz winning.
but Miz is gonna cash in, get the title. Ratings on Raw on Monday. Who? They're not going
There is a
down this
time.
week. They're not going down this week. They need to end that slide.
If there is a time where they're really going to switch it up, then I totally agree with you, Tim.
This
It has
is
to
it.
be.
You got to throw the title on
has to be.
Drew.
because it just changes up the whole nature of Monday Night Raw.
They've already showed
What
they
they
can
need.
give. They've already showed they could give McIntyre a short reign. They've done it once. They'll do it again.
You're right. So the whole McIntyre Sheamus thing, maybe that's
Maybe.
going to still happen, but not for the title.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is why we watch. I got Drew McIntyre retaining against AJ Styles. I think AJ and Drew are going to tear the house down. This is my match of the night.
Really?
Yes, 1,000%. 1,000%. No questions. We'll all be watching, and we're all going to talk about these matches, and that nothing's going to top this one. These guys are going to kill it. Drew McIntyre is going to retain. I'm going to say Miz does not cash in, but he's going to tease it.
Man.
See, the only way you can get ratings higher on Raw is if Miz cashes in on Raw. That's my only downside.
Fair. All right, so we got was that Drew across the board?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Which match?
Miz cashes in, remains to be seen. Quick question for you guys. 2 quick questions. We're going to rattle right through these. Your first match of the night, and BA, go.
I have the New Day versus whatever. Her business.
Her business.
Baszler and Nia Jax.
Carmella and Sasha.
I got New Day and the Hurt Business as my first match. And what's your main event, guys? Last
Gotta
match.
be Drew and AJ.
Drew and AJ.
I have Roman Reigns.
Fair.
Head of the table. I got Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles as well, just because of that Money in the Bank factor. So that's it, guys. There it is. TLC predictions are in. Guys, thank you all for joining again. I am the Macho Man, Matty Savage. Alongside me, Insider BA, Timo, and Dan Go. We are the SmackTalk team. Make sure you guys hit us with the follow. It's that simple. And we out.
Like, share, follow, retweet, subscribe. Peace.